If you're a slave to your job because you want to make the most amount at retirement, so you're going to work till you're 70, you don't know how many years, months, or days you have after that day you retire at 70. So my thought process was, I don't know how much I'm healthy. Yeah, I've got good health. I want to enjoy it. I want to be able to enjoy life while I'm healthy and can. And if I wait too long and I die shortly after I retire, then I don't want the government to have all my money. If you would have told me 15 years ago that I'd be sitting outside a park in Bangkok, Thailand, and living my life here, I would have thought you're crazy. Let me tell you my journey. It could be very similar to yours or one that's coming up. Ready? Let's go. Hey, what's up? It's JJ the Lonely Bullinasia here at Benjasiri Park, the smaller park in Prampong area. You can see M-Sphere Mall, one of the newer malls in Bangkok, right over there. And then you got the other malls that direction. Just had dinner, and now we're going to walk around and talk a little bit about my journey and what got me here. Like I said, if you were to tell me 15 years ago, we're talking 2010, that I would be here today, there's no way. No way in hell I would have believed you. But here I am, right? So how did I get here? To give you the full story, you have to go back to about 2011 when I was going through my divorce, living in Indianapolis, Indiana. I just got out of working in finance. I worked in finance about 5-6 years and didn't like it. Insurance and investments. Didn't like it. I got in right when that 2008 crash started, or right before that I got in, and then the crash came and it wasn't good. So I needed to find a job where it wasn't commission, and I ended up taking this job at a small technical school in Indianapolis, and I was making about like $45,000 a year back in 2011. But shortly after I started there, I went through a divorce. So had a really rough divorce that lasted a couple of years. But while I was working there, it was a small school, one building, 2 stories. This old guy, this old gray-haired guy, he looked like he had to have been 70. But he'd come in his beat-up red pickup every morning, and he'd drop off this younger woman, and I found out later she was Filipina. Just a cute little thing, just tiny and just beautiful, and I was just instantly struck. Come to find out they're married, and he was dropping her off for work every day. She cleaned the place, she cleaned the college every day, swept the floors, mopped the floors, cleaned the bathrooms, emptied the garbage, all that. But she was super nice, and that's when I got to thinking, it's like, well, if this guy can do it, why can't I? Because I haven't had good luck with Western women, that's for sure, you know, going through a rough divorce. So I decided after my divorce, I was going to get on a Asian dating site. And I got on, I think it was Date in Asia or something like that. And I ended up connecting with a Filipina, and she was an OFW, which is an overseas foreign worker, working in Hong Kong, taking care of a family. And we talked, and this was 2015. And we talked, and then she had a holiday at the end of the year over Christmas break, and she was going to go back to the Philippines to see her family and her kids. She had 2 kids back in northern Luzon. And so I decided that, okay, I'm going to pull the trigger. Never been out of the country before in my life. So this is back in like the summer of 2015. So I went to the post office, got my photo taken, ordered my passport, and then it came back. I don't remember, it was like 6 weeks or something like that. And I was so excited. It was like the most excited I've been about something in a long time. I remember FaceTiming her and showing her my passport. We were both super excited. So I booked my ticket over Christmas break to go to Manila. And it was expensive because it was a short notice, and being the holidays, I think my round trip ticket was $2,800 or $2,900, something like that. And that was like super economy and layovers in 3 different cities. So I tried to go the cheapest route I could. Anyway, it was a horrible flight, and that my charging station didn't work on my under my seat, and we had a layover in LA going up, layover in Honolulu, which was cool. I spent the night in Honolulu, went to Waikiki Beach, took the bus up there, and that was fun. And then flew to Manila. It was nighttime, and my first shock about being in the Philippines or being overseas was stepping outside the airport in Manila and seeing the throngs of people across the street behind like a fence, waiting for their foreigners to show up. I later found out I'd never seen anything like that before. And it's not quite as bad as it was back then. Back then, unless you had a ticket, you couldn't even go in the airport. Now I think they'll let you in, but I'm not sure how that works anymore. But I'm looking around, and it's like, oh, they all look alike. So I didn't know. I couldn't find her, and finally I hear this in the back. I hear this little voice saying, "Baby, baby." And I turn around, and there she comes. And my second shock was how tiny she was. Oh my God, I've never seen so many tiny people in all my life. I'm 6 foot, a little over 6 foot. And I just towered over everybody. And she was maybe 5 foot. I don't think she was even 5 foot. And she was just a tiny little thing. And it's like, oh my gosh, people are going to think weird things. But those are my first 2 shocks. And then I mentioned in a video before my scam. I got scammed on a taxi ride. They're doing construction over here, so let's get on the other side so it's not so noisy. Okay. So my third shock was the scam I got getting a taxi. I thought somebody's doing me a favor, and they charged me 3,000 peso. My first time in Manila. So spent 2 weeks there. Met her parents, met her kids. Everything was great. Well, went back home. We still talked and everything. She went back to work in Hong Kong, but then we ended up breaking up. It was just the LDR thing wasn't working out. It was 2016 when I broke up with my first Filipina, and I was ready to actually move to China to teach English. I had a contract ready, signed and ready to send in for this company to teach English in Shenzhen, China. I could have picked several different places, but I picked that place because it was just north of Hong Kong. So I thought I could go there, I could work there, and then come down to Hong Kong on the weekends and see my girlfriend. Well then, at the last minute, I got a job offer in Louisville, Kentucky at a university there. Wow. So I took that job, and I went the comfort route. I was like a little nervous about the move and everything. So I decided I was just going to take the comfortable way out and stay in the States. Well, I kind of regretted that move. And I always wonder, where would I be today if I'd taken that 15-month job teaching English in China? I don't know if I'd still be working or not. I don't know. But as luck would have it, we ended up breaking up. So that was probably a good thing that I didn't take it. But I got back on the horse, and I thought, in 2017, I'm going to got back on the dating site and contacted another girl that we matched and decided I'm going to come see her. So I was familiar with the Philippines finally a little bit. So I started seeing her, and we dated for almost 3 years. Long distance though, back and forth, up until 2020, and we broke up. And I'm back in the States, and fast forward to 2021, and I'm thinking, man, I hate it here. Things aren't good. Prices are high. Just things are just crazy. Back in 2020, 2021 with COVID and all this. And it's like, man, I wish I would have made that move to Asia. And I'd always thought about that. And then I had a job. I was working in Tulsa at the time, and I was actually between jobs, and I was interviewing. And the guy I was interviewing was a vice president of a university based out of California, but it was an online global university. And he was telling me, he was selling the university to me because I was applying for a director of admissions job for the Tulsa region. They already had an East Coast and a West Coast region. They wanted somebody in the central part, and I was there, and so things worked out good. But he was telling me how, oh yeah, we've got students all over the world, United States, Canada, Mexico, Central America, South America, Europe. And I go, well, if you ever expand to Asia, I'm your guy, because I've always wanted to live there. And he goes, funny you should say that, because we actually are planning on expanding into the Asia market. So this was in, I want to say, August of 2021. And so by the time I got home, he'd called me back from my interview and offered me a job, not as director of admissions for Tulsa, for the Midwest region, but to expand into the Asian market. I was director of admissions with the Asia market, and I took it. I wasn't going to make that mistake again. So I took it, and this was in September of 2021 when I started. And for the first 4 months, all I did was research on where to live, what countries have the best English proficiency, what's the cost of living. And I started watching YouTube. And this is really my first time ever watching YouTube, was back in the fall of 2021. And I watched channels about, oh, you know, it's COVID here, but all the rumors are they're going to open up in 2022. And this is what you need to know. This is what you need to be prepared for to come here. So I'd watch channels like Geo in the Philippines. He was good for that. Jennifer Terry was good on general information about coming here. Evan from the Savvy Expat was really good because he concentrated on BGC, Bonifacio Global City. And he'd show his videos, he'd show everything around BGC and how great it was, and Christmas time. And that's how I got I got hooked on BGC, just watching his videos. So in January, they announced, January 2022, the Philippines government announced that they were going to open up the borders for travel on February, I believe it was February 22nd, 2022 was the date they opened. And the requirements were you had to have a COVID shot and a booster in order to come there. So I went and did that. I got my COVID shot and my booster, and booked my ticket. And at the end of February or beginning of March, I flew out to Manila and stayed in BGC until I found a place, and then I ended up moving into a condo in BGC and was there for almost a year. And then my contract ended and they didn't renew it. So I started looking for jobs where I didn't have to leave. I could stay in the Philippines. I started looking for jobs. I couldn't really find anything. So, and my problem was I was spoiled because I was making really good money. I was making U.S. dollars living in the Philippines. So I was a 2%er basically living in the Philippines, even in BGC. So I was living like a king basically. It was great. So I got a little spoiled. So I was looking for stuff that would pay the same, and I couldn't really find anything. So my alternative was, got to move back to the States, and I'll work there, and the cost of living is a lot higher, and I'll have to work till I'm 70, and that's just not what I really wanted to do. So I decided, this was toward the end of 2022, I decided I'm going to retire. I put pen to paper, figured out what my pension amount's going to be and all that. I take a little hit by retiring early, but cost of living was so low, I decided, what the hell, I'm going to do it. So I did. I retired, and I started collecting my retirement money at the beginning of 2023. And I have not regretted that a day in my life. The best decision I ever made was to retire early in life, because you just never know when it's time for you to leave this planet. And if you're a slave to your job because you want to make the most amount at retirement, so you're going to work till you're 70, you don't know how many years, months, or days you have after that day you retire at 70. So my thought process was, I don't know how much I'm healthy. Yeah, I've got good health. I want to enjoy it. I want to be able to enjoy life while I'm healthy and can. And if I wait too long and I die shortly after I retire, then I don't want the government to have all my money. So that's not good either. So that was my decision, and I'm so happy. So I lived in BGC, loved it, dated around. Hang on, we're back at the construction spot. Stand by. Okay, we're going to mix things up a little bit. We're going to go back the other direction. Walk the other way. So let me see, where was I? I lived in BGC almost 3 years, and I had a blast. The first year, a little over a year and a half, I dated a lot, had some steady girlfriends, had some dates ended up not being steady, but had a great time. Dated some beautiful Filipina. I mean, top drawer Filipina. And then I got the love bug and met a girl about, it'd be about 2 years ago now. And we ended up being a couple for almost 2 years until I moved in October. And the reason why I moved, I just felt that her and I had different plans for the future, and they weren't matching. There's nothing against her. She's a beautiful person, inside and out. She's amazing. But it was just not in my, her plans weren't in line with mine, and mine weren't in line with hers. So I knew whichever way we went, one of us wasn't going to be really happy. So it would be tough. So I'd been traveling, in those 3 years, I've traveled all over. I went to Singapore, I went to Thailand many times, went to Vietnam, all over the Philippines. But I love Thailand and I love Bangkok. So that was my decision. I decided I'm going to move to Bangkok. So October of 2024 is when I made the move here to Bangkok. Found a nice, smaller condo on the south end of Bangkok in Samut Prakan. And it's really cheap, $350 a month, free high-speed Wi-Fi. And my plan was, that's going to be my new home base. So all my gear's there, my desktop, my monitors. Basically my studio is there. And then I was also going to get a place or I did get a place in Da Nang, Vietnam, because I love Da Nang. So I had a place there. So I was kind of split my time between the two, and enjoying that. But every time I left Bangkok or Thailand, I missed it. Something about Thailand, something about Bangkok is just different. And I just really missed it. So even when I went to Chiang Mai last week, I was only gone for 5 days. I couldn't wait to get back here. I just really missed Bangkok. Here, let's check this out. Got a little skate park here. That's pretty cool. Oh, here I am back in Bangkok. And this will be my home. So I've been here, let's see, October, November, December. 9 months now, almost 10. So I've got a 1-year lease on my condo, and then I'll probably move farther north, up closer to around where I'm at now. Phrom Phong area, maybe Tong Lo, Ekamai, maybe as far south as An Nut. I may even check out, I don't want to live in the Nana area and probably not the Asok area. That's just a little too busy for me. But I might check out north of Nana on Sukhumvit line, which is Chitlom and Plon Chit. Those areas, a little more expensive. But now that I don't have my apartment in Da Nang, I've got a lot of extra money. So I can spend a little more, get a little bigger place where I'll be able to get a real studio look, which is what I'm really looking forward to. So that's my plan. But that's my story. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your story is. If you're down here, if you're here in Southeast Asia, how'd you get here? What was your decision? If you are thinking about it, stop thinking, dude. Don't be like me and wait 10 years before you make the move, or 7. Figure it out. Come down here, visit, extended visit, and figure out what's going on. And get down here. Make that move. Don't wait too long. Figure out if you can afford to retire early or if you're ready for retirement. Stay healthy and come here and live life, my friend. Like, share, and subscribe as always. And like I always say, live life. And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.